Shovavim is a time, it's a stretch of the year that the Mekubalim identified as a time that is very opportune to purify ourselves from sexual errors, whether it be in the case of a married couple, learning the laws of Nida and the laws of Tznius, for single people, working on Shmiras Einayim, not looking at improper things, and to think about Kedusha rather than sexual fantasies and the like. And this is part of how we purify ourselves. Again, maybe it's a longer talk for another time. We do not regard the sexual intimacy of husband and wife as anything that's shameful or dirty, chas v'shalom. We regard it as very, very elevated and very holy. We're not putting that aspect of life down at all. But halacha recognizes that those types of expressions are legitimate only within the confines of a holy marriage, of Kedushin, that is sanctified. And that does create a problem for people, because Chazal wanted marriages to be young, because that makes a lot of sense. But today people are not ready. So I appreciate the dilemma of the single, young, Jewish religious man. It is very, very difficult. It is a very, very great nisayon, especially when you live in a society that is super saturated with sexuality on every corner. You just walk into the streets, whatever it is. So it's a very, very difficult nisayon, and I understand the difficulty of the nisayon. But Shovavim is a time when we try to work on this, and Shovavim is a time when there's extra siyata dishmaya that comes into the world to help a person who wants to be mishtadel in this particular avodah. Many of you might know of the website Guard Your Eyes, which is a website devoted to helping people through these nisyanas. And by the way, it's not only single people. Married people in various guises can have all sorts of challenges as well with internet and the like. And those who would benefit should check out the website and see what is available for them in this area. But this is what Shovavim is. And again, there's a little bit of a pun in Shovavim, because the word Shovavim is not only an abbreviation for the Parshios, but Shovavim also means a wayward person. A person who wanders off the derech is called a Shovav. So Memela, Shovavim is a period of time for those who have walked off the derech, so to speak, and this will help them get on the derech. Now, the connection to these particular weeks is that these are the weeks of Yetziat Mitrayim. These are the weeks of the Exodus of Egypt. And we understand that the Iker Mitzrayim is not the slavery that is outside of me, but the Iker of Mitzrayim is the slavery that is within me. And this Yetzer Hara can be the strongest slavery that I have. And B'davka, during these weeks, Hashem gives me the koach to be able to leave the inner Mitzrayim that torments me and that holds me back and that prevents me from connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let me just say one thing. I don't want to be marach on this too much, because a lot of this is tznius, and we talk about it privately. But there is a very important lesson that people have to recognize. And that is, if occasionally a person fails and occasionally a person stumbles, it's very important not to give up, and it's very important not to be heartbroken and not to be despondent. Just as the old saying goes, when you fall off the horse, you got to get back on the horse again. There is, unfortunately, in life a Yetzer Hara to do Averos, that we all have. But then there's another Yetzer Hara, that after I do the Avera, the Yetzer Hara says, you see, there's no hope for you, don't bother, what's the use? And the emes is, the secondary Yetzer Hara, after the Chet, might even be worse than the first Yetzer Hara that made you do a Chet. The Yetzer Hara made me do a Chet, so I did a Chet. But the Yetzer Hara that comes afterwards and says, what's the purpose of doing tshuva? What's the purpose of trying to fix it? You're going to fail again and again. Why bother to try? That's the worst Yetzer Hara of all, because that's the Yetzer Hara that says there's no purpose of ever working on anything. So it's very, very important that when people make mistakes, when people are nichshal in whatever it is, that, okay, I made a mistake, but I go on.
Thank you for listening to the Guard Your Eyes Daily Chizuk broadcast. Pass them on to your friends and help spread Kedusha in the world.